And I did a video yesterday, a couple of them, where I talked about how things are not getting better. And I did that in reference to homosexual, transgender children. How I've seen a lot of public service announcements talking about things get better, and I was actually on the Justice Department's website, and I seen the little video, and I was like, "What's this?" And they were talking about how a lot of those agents, they had been beaten up and bullied when they were younger and stuff like that. How things get better. Why? While I think no doubt it's a good thing to see uh, public service agencies acknowledging bullying, acknowledging things of that nature, and acknowledging that it's wrong. I don't think things are getting better. And I was watching Morning Joe a little minute ago. They were talking about how this governor of Georgia is just now acknowledging that, yeah, it actually, they had been saying, oh, it doesn't, not a big deal. And now the governor is saying, well, we just found out it does pass, even if you don't, asymptomatically. I've known that for over a month. How does the governor of Georgia not know that? I've known that for over a month. This is nationalism. This is what nationalism is. This is conservatives that if it doesn't affect them directly, they don't care. That's the mindset of the conservative. If it doesn't affect them directly, they don't know about it, they don't care. It's not a big deal. I said it before, I said it yesterday, that I don't think things will get better. I think the election of Donald Trump, I'm not saying you didn't have people in the past who, like Dr. King, like others, believed in making a better America for all, and willing to even lose their lives, their fortune, their family name to do that. I'm not saying you didn't have people like that. I believe that. But I think that what Trump represents is a large portion of the population that's got money, that's willing to go grab a rifle and a mask and go to the border in the dead of night, that's willing to go out here and attack people, Timothy McVeigh types. And some people don't go that far, but that type of the society, I think, is very, very live, very active. I believe that. I'm sorry, my aunt's sending me crap. I don't believe that things are getting better or that things are going to get better. I just don't. Yeah, I think that the example would be when Trump told people, if you don't like America, to go back to where you're coming from. Well, that's harassment. If Trump had done that and been a regular federal employee, he'd lost his job for that. But because he's president and his base loves him, he got away with it. He even had a little bump in the support from the base. Yeah. So I don't think things are getting better. I think that with coronavirus, we're seeing more we already knew existed. We're seeing how nasty and hateful these people really are. How nasty and hateful they've always been. I don't believe that things will get better. I mean, growing up, it's like I'm working and dealing with people that I went to high school with, the same dumb, because that's the South. That's the South. You're not running from that here. You're not going to get away from it here. It's amazing, this idea that I may be poor, but at least I'm not gay. I may be this, but I'm not. That's amazing. It's still like that here. Once you start to dig down deep, the racism, homophobia, still there. Sexism, also still there. Ain't shit there. And that's what they're fighting for. They're fighting for the right to be homophobic. They're fighting for the right to be racist. They're fighting for the right to be sexist. They're fighting for that right. They're not fighting for against inequality. They're not fighting to deal with these diseases and things that we should have cured 100 years ago. You still got people out here with that parasite they had down there in Alabama. It's getting up under your feet, goes up in your body. I mean, that should have been vanquished a long time. Stuff in the water, hookworm. That stuff should have been dealt with a long time ago. We shouldn't even be talking about stuff like that. But this is what happens when you have a breakdown in the social fabric of the society, to where conservatives just say, fuck it. We don't care about this group and we're willing to let these people die. And obviously, average time, you don't think about it, but when a pandemic happens, that comes to the forefront. That comes to the top. They joke about the South, but that's to me what I know to be real. They don't care about people. My hope is that the left progressives realize that we can't just fight for smoking weed and fight to have gay marriage and stuff like that. We've got to deal with this stuff at a economic level. We've got to rise up economically. That if we don't, the next pandemic, and there will be more, the next global health disaster, they're gonna fuck it up. Like what coronavirus represents is a failure of nationalism. It does. And hearing the governor of Georgia, I think it's Georgia, lying and telling he just now heard about coronavirus passed asymptomatically. I mean, that's an idiot. That guy is an idiot, and he has put lives at risk for political purposes to follow Trump. I said it before. I believe a lot of governors would have followed. If Trump had reopened the country in Easter, I believe a lot of Republicans would have followed him, but they would have been destroyed politically. Oh yeah. Once the body bag started filling, they'd have been destroyed politically. They had to run. They would have lost their supporters. They'd have lost their people that support them. They had to run for cover. I think you have a lot of Republican governors that like Trump, but I think they know he's not legitimate. He's not a person to be looked at legitimately. And he's crazy. Trump is crazy, but they can use him. You understand? He's crazy, but they can use him. And he can do a lot of good for their movement, for the radical right. He can do a lot for their movement. And they know that. But if Trump does something too crazy, they'll run for cover. Opening the country prematurely was one of those decisions that would have made a lot of people, that would have destroyed political careers. I'm talking about down the road. Once this all gets done with, that would have destroyed careers. People would have been, they wouldn't have been able to run for local dog catcher after this. And they knew that. I think somebody got to him and said, hey, look, man, I love you, but if you make me choose, I'm going to choose the CDC. I'm going to choose the Anthony Fauci. I'm going to just choose the people who tell me not to. And you can go, kick rocks in essence. And he knew that. I said before, when you have friends, you have to respect and love your friends, and you have to know that you have to value your friends. Like I told Denzel, I'm not going to ask Denzel to do nothing that would jeopardize his family, ever. And I wouldn't expect him to do that either for me. No, hell no. When I asked you, and one time he couldn't give me money, I ain't said no more about it. I was done with it. I wasn't going to try to guilt him or nothing. No, not at all. I think Trump is starting to realize that he needs those people. That's all he's got. Like, we are a partisan hellhole right now. And we're at the point where Trump calls journalists that ask him tough questions horrible journalists. I mean, peace.